Unleash the power. Unleash the power.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ruckus Room. I have Alan here with me today, and I think we're just going to dive deep into some local stuff today. Alan, it's been a hot minute for that, right?
Oh, we're probably going to upset some people, but nothing new about that. So,
Well,
let's go local.
We are called the Ruckus Room for a reason, and if it does really good, I think we might just do this every week. What do you think? Like have a local and then a conservative show, because it's just like all of the comments and stuff. It's just hilarious to watch it.
Well, the nice thing is we don't shut comments off, which might segue us into the first part.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was going to start with the good news by celebrating.
All right, let's start that way.
Some real wins this week from student athletes in the area. We're going to congratulate Palm Coast FPC weightlifting boys team. They dominated over the weekend in Lake Gibson, the Invitational, sweeping both Olympic and traditional team titles, winning the belt. Head coach Dwayne Hackstrom, Hall of Fame weightlifting coach, led the charge. 7 Bulldogs earned honors of double golds, placing both gold in Olympic and traditional. Elite performers such as Jackson Fadum, Joseph Casanova, Marlon, Alex, Anthony, Cody Strouser, and Matthew McFall. Some of those last names I'm not going to annihilate, but you guys know who you are. Those were the 7 gold medalists that were doubles. And then the other lifters that showed depth that was undeniable in the team was Wendell Weaver, Mathis Parker, Chris Lights, Aiden Bull, Memphis Hamby, Landon Gates, Logan, and John Banco. Also, talking about them last week, they had 2 competitions. One was on Wednesday night, and they actually went to Matanzas, which is their local rival school for pretty much everything. They absolutely, FPC's team, stomped the Matanzas Pirates in a dominant showdown in the Pirates gym. 5 double winners that night: Anthony, Memphis, Jackson, Joseph, and Matthew McFall. Top lifts, Matthew McFall, also my son, he had the top lifts of the night with a 265-pound snatch, a 320-pound clean and jerk, and a 330 bench with a jaw-dropping 650-pound traditional total. Chris Lightsey, Landon Gates, Marlon, and Mathis Parker were also up in the ranks, but those 5 I had mentioned before got 2 top lifts. So we're going to just open that with a light note, something fun to talk about.
but let's take a second and give your son some real kudos, because he's killing it.
Well, that's the thing. Weightlifting does not get talked about in this area. Both my son, Cody, and several other players, Alex, Landon, all performed in national competitions. They've been doing so well. We're all going to Colorado in June with 8 of those players that are going to be competing nationally on the national level with some USA World lifters and stuff like that. So they're super excited, and I don't really talk about it that much, but I think that this team, and especially the coach, he's just been amazing. He's the reason my son is still at FPC. He's just amazing. And the things that he does for these kids, he goes to these meets for free on his time when it's not in season. And he does all these things that no one gives him enough credit for. So I think credit was due with their wins over the last 3 weeks. And they are just starting their season. So go check them out. They have some away meets the next few weeks, some invitationals, but then they'll be back at home. So definitely go check them out.
So we were talking off air a minute ago about maybe getting some of them in here into the studio.
Within the next few weeks, we're going to do a podcast with the ones that are going to nationals in June in Colorado Springs. We're super excited. And they're going to come in. They're going to talk about their life, what they've been going through. I mean, the medals that these kids have won is just, I have to buy my son another rack. Cody's the same way. Like these racks are just getting filled with these medals. And it's a big deal, to people that are in the weightlifting world, especially when it was the coolest thing to be there with Olympians, national world champions, and competing on that platform was just so cool to see. I never thought as a parent that I'd be in that situation. And literally like wearing the USA gear and stuff like that, you have to pinch me sometimes. But my son's gotten multiple offers, and we're going to start taking some trips, which hopefully the government doesn't screw up when they start paying the TSA employees.
Let's not go into that.
And I'm super excited because he would love to be an Olympian one day for the weightlifting team, which I'm super excited. Never thought I would hear my kids say that. And
well, they're I don't know, the lack of a better word, I don't know, scouting him. Is that the proper wording?
Yeah, and it's a lot of coaches have reached out to him, and it's really cool. Like I had to listen and get a giggle the other night over my son's conversation with one of the coaches from a major university. He says, "Where's the closest Publix, coach?" And this college is out of state, and he says, "Son is 7 hours away in the Panhandle." He goes, "We have a Walmart here," and my son says, "Yeah, that's not going to do. What are we going to do? No pub subs, Mom." I was like, the struggles are real when you're in college, and that's what you're used to, you know.
If that's the most he has to worry about, good on him.
I know, right? Your life must be good.
Yeah, it must be great.
But to hear them call him on his cell phone and talk to them and see the comments and stuff, it's been really cool.
Yeah.
So
I've followed his achievements on Facebook and so forth. I haven't seen him I've met him in person, but I haven't seen him lift in person. And
you should come to senior night or something like that. It'll be a lot of fun.
That would be. I'd like to see it because
they're hosting districts and regionals at home at FPC this year. So he'll hopefully he's one of the top state contenders right now. He's actually one of the top lifters in the state for his age. So we're excited about that. We'd love him.
And how old is
he? He's 17.
Wow. This is amazing.
It is. So, but yes, hopefully we'll get the boys weightlifting team in, and we'll talk about their Colorado trip and the fundraisers they're going to be doing, and hopefully we'll get the community involved.
What time of year are they going up to Colorado?
June. It's June 20th through the 28th, I believe.
That area
I'm excited.
of Colorado is
it's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous, but it's a lot like Florida at that time of year where it's hot, nasty.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I'll get to. I'm worried about.
But
the
it's beautiful.
change.
I mean, it's got. Well, there is that. You're almost a mile high there, but it's a valley in that area. You're not up.
Gonna have to bring a cardiologist with me.
Yeah, actually, you should look into that.
Yeah, I know. No, I know, but I'm at all of his stuff. Like, I am not going to miss this. I'd be on a gurney. I'd still be going.
But you should look in. You might need. Well, never mind. Yeah. We'll talk off the air. Anyway,
so we're gonna start talking about some local news and dive deep into Flagler County schools that have seen a string of threats leading to arrest, which parents of the community questioned safety protocol. Last week, a 14-year-old student named Lincoln Cottle of Flagler Beach was arrested by the Flagler County Sheriff's Office for making serious threats to kill or cause bodily harm to two classmates in an incident that stemmed from Snapchat. Apparently, a girl got called something by this kid, and two kids stood up for her, and this gentleman, Lincoln Cottle, allegedly sent videos to the two victims showing them holding a firearm, saying he's going to shoot one in the stomach and the other one in the head. On Snapchat,
videos?
Apparently there are photos on Snapchat. So that happened that day. The next day he was arrested. I wanted to just talk about this though, because this also stems from a week prior to that, two middle school students at Buddy Taylor, 11-year-old and a 13-year-old, wrote up they're going to shoot up the school on a bathroom wall at Indian Trails, also sent pictures on Snapchat threatening to shoot up the school. So two things I have here. What the hell are we doing with Snapchat? That thing just needs to go away because there's nothing good on Snapchat. Absolutely nothing good for our children. The second thing is when I was reading the comments, Alan, everybody is quick to blame the parents. The parents on all. I saw so many comments, especially with Lincoln Cottle. You should blame the parents. They should be held accountable. And we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
To what degree you think that a parent should actually be held accountable for their children, because as kids get older, they do dumb crap.
What was the age of these kids?
Well, the two Buddy Taylor were girls, I believe, and one was 13 and one was 11. 11's a little young.
11, yeah.
13-year-old
knows better.
They start going through their changes and everything, and they're already all over the place. But by 14 and you're in high school,
well,
he took his dad's gun and took a picture of it. That's the other question. Why wasn't that gun locked up, and how does he have access to a gun?
Well,
there's so many questions with that one.
That right there, the gun part. If he got a hold of his dad's gun, that is a parental issue because dad should have taken better care of his gun.
Yeah, especially if he would.
But dad also should have taught the kid, respect for a firearm. And I'm afraid, and I think we probably mentioned this before, but it seems to me that parents want to be friends and not parents.
Or they're working and they're single parents who are always working.
Well, there's that.
Too,
there's that. But when at some point the the parent is responsible for discipline at some point. They might be, we used to call them latchkey kids. That they would be home and the parent would be working and stuff because, let's face it, we're two-income families anymore to really be able to succeed. But the kid, parents have a responsibility to teach the kid, but the kid has a responsibility to learn. And kids know that the whole firearm thing and everything in school is just, it's not something that's going to get played with.
No.
That's serious stuff, and it's been serious stuff for a long time because there are wackos that actually do go through with this stuff. So personally, I think that, the parents need to be reprimanded, but the kids, those kids need to, in my personal opinion, they need psychiatric help.
He's charged with a felony now. Like,
Well,
that's going to ruin his life if he gets convicted of it. And but
it's too
that
bad.
But that dad should
could
have had
killed somebody else's life. So
and
I
that
got
dad
no
should
issue
have
with
had,
it.
or the parent should have had that gun locked in a safe where he does not know where the key is. I am a firm believer of that. I don't think the kid should know where or how to get into
No, 100%.
parents'
But
arsenals.
but also, the kid should have been taught if you're gonna have a gun in the house,
You got to teach
from
them
a
responsibility and safety.
Yeah, from very early age.
Yeah.
And it needs to be ingrained, not just mentioned. You have to ingrain it, and then you have to take steps to make sure that when they get stupid, and kids are stupid, that they don't do something stupid.
Yeah.
Like these kids, fortunately nothing happened, but who knows where it could have gone
Yeah.
if there wasn't any kind of intervention to stop it.
Yeah. Do you think parents should be talking to their kids about the seriousness of it? Like, do you think
Parents need to talk to their kids.
I mean, I wonder if they did.
I don't think they did because the kids did stupid stuff.
And like the two girls from Buddy Taylor, like, you're going to shoot up the school, write it on the wall, and then send. Snapchat is the devil. It really is the devil. Like, I don't understand. There's nothing good that comes out of Snapchat. Both incidents with these schools involve Snapchat.
I don't.
Why is an 11-year-old on Snapchat?
I don't even know.
Snapchat.
I've never been
is,
on Snapchat. I don't know.
So my son and his friends use it. I don't use it, but I've seen it. And you take a picture and then it disappears. But I don't understand why 11-year-olds should be on Snapchat. That should not, or even a 13-year-old. I don't agree with that. Like, I think there should be more parental laws or something in place where you can not let them have access to stuff like that.
So okay.
So if I sent you something,
right.
you view my picture, it disappears.
So how did they save it to?
Screenshot. That's the only way you can save it. And I'm sure forensics or whatever got into your phone, they could figure it out. But that's the thing with Snapchat. The minute you view it, it disappears.
So what's the value of it?
I don't know, but there's a lot of bad things that happen on Snapchat. I have never heard of anything good that's ever happened off Snapchat.
So the big worry about TikTok should really be Snapchat.
I think Snapchat's where the thing about
not on
TikTok,
the Chinese level, but on the kid level.
Yeah, Snapchat's definitely bad. I think TikTok, the only thing that's bad is so liberal on there. It doesn't pass conservative content very well. And the other thing is, with a lot of it's fake. A lot of it's just fake and not true. And I have people that send me stuff all the time. Look at this TikTok. I'm like, that's not real. That's not true. I grok you. So
yeah,
ChatGPT this after this, and yeah, no. But yeah, I think social media just is bad for as a whole, and it's ruining these kids' lives.
And it's gone from a useful tool to a real problem, and I'm not really sure how to rein it back in, other than you shouldn't be using the computer as a babysitter.
Yeah,
and
that's another problem.
Yeah, and there should be phone time, I guess. Kids are now living on their phone, and I have a habit of my phone. My phone is now my computer, so whenever I'm doing things, I'm using my phone for it. But really, as kids, it needs to be reined in.
Yeah. Well, we're going to continue talking about our schools, and we're going to talk about early literacy. I don't know if you saw an article that came out this week from the superintendent, but basically it kind of sounded like deflection because school readiness was at a plummeting 37% between VPK and kindergarten. It was deflection from the school board, basically saying that parents, it's their fault for early learning being that low. Miss Moore came out and said you don't have to teach your child how to read for them to be ready for kindergarten, but she gets paid to run the schools in the area. And I thought that was kind of crazy because you actually have to teach your kids how to talk. And I think reading is very important to them as a parent. I don't know about you, Alan.
Oh, of course. They should be reading as soon as they can understand what's going on.
Yeah.
At least learning letters and stuff.
Well, and you look at our county, which is we're in like, 30-something% ready. The highest county is St. John's in the area, and they're over 50%. Volusia County is over 45%. So something's going on.
So we're the lowest of the three
We're the
counties?
lowest in the three counties. Moore says it needs to be more of a community effort. Ask whose community's not the one paying I'm just confused about this because she's basically blaming the parents and the school readiness like VPKs or private daycares. If you can't be home with your kids all the time and these people are getting these children ready for school, it's basically falling back on them. And I wanted to know what your thoughts were on that because I don't know. I mean, I think it should be a community effort, but that also goes for the school board. It should also be an effort on their end, not just the parent who has to work all day if they are a single parent. You know, it shouldn't fall back on them. And what if these kids are nonverbal? And they have autism or other things like that, you know, I don't know. It's basically not my circus, so I'm staying out of it. It's just what
I don't
she's
have
saying.
any kids in the school, so I'm not really up on it. But I do know that, roughly 4 years ago, one of the big things was reading and writing was so low in our county that they were, you know, it was campaign issues and talking about increasing it and so forth. And apparently they didn't.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of hard to blame the parents and not the schools that are supposed to be getting them ready to get into kindergarten.
The schools are teaching things that have nothing to do with academics. So I agree.
Especially when we're paying these people to educate our kids and run them efficiently, and they're not. And we're the lowest county in the area.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts. Now, I know that, you know, we do have federal guidelines that have to be followed, and hopefully someday that'll change. But if St. Johns County, which is the county north of us, and Volusia County, the immediate county south of us, have better scores than we do, apparently by quite a bit.
Yeah, but that goes back to those episodes we've had before with transparency. Everything is so much more organized in both of these counties. Even the buses. I mean, you go back to the bus. We're still having a shortage in this area. We've had several people on the show talking about the school bus issue. I'm still getting, just even 2 weeks ago, that they're short drivers. Meanwhile, in Volusia County, my daughter takes the bus. She's got 2 people on the bus with her, including the driver, that are helpers. And they're there every day watching the buses. We haven't had any issues. Yet here, it's always a circus. You're either stopping at the gas station like we've had before.
That was amazing.
Or the fights at the bus that you don't, and there's nobody on the bus with these kids.
Or people getting on the bus.
Or people standing or having to stand the whole time on the bus. You know, there's a lot of issues that, you know, kind of go hand in hand with all of this stuff. And then the transparencies with the voucher system here. And, you know, who we take into this county, how you apply for these things, all that stuff. It's written out so much better in the other following counties than here, you know, and we've had several things on the show that I've had to go with that.
I'm wondering, you know, why do we have a shortage of bus drivers and stuff here? Is it because the pay here is less? I don't know. Is less than our neighboring counties, or I mean, it doesn't make sense. We have enough people around here, especially retired people, that, you know, a couple hours a day could easily drive a bus.
And I think we outsource our drivers and buses, and that's the other problem, which the counties, I believe Flagler and St. John's have their own bus systems. Like they actually hire and do their own things through the counties. Volusia and St. John's, not here. We outsource ours.
Well, then, you know,
that could be a problem.
The proof is in the pudding. If outsourcing isn't working and the 2 neighboring counties are in-house, then obviously there's an issue and it should be corrected.
Yeah.
Now, who knows?
I don't know if you watched the school board meetings or not, but I believe there was one on February 24th where it seems like there's kind of an internal clash with what's going on with a couple of the board members. They're divided. Apparently, for the last few years, students from local high schools are elected to go to the school board meetings and kind of participate and listen.
Yes, I've seen that.
And give their input. And apparently, you know, they've been part of votes for like school uniforms and just different things. And that particular meeting back in February. They clashed over the policy for if these students are basically allowed to have a voice in these meetings. Ms. Moore's team drafted a new policy stating students are advisory only, no vote, no counted, or anything like that. They get the agendas and public material at the same time as board members, but are encouraged to sit at the board table during regular open meetings and participate in discussions in the same manner as the public. And they must follow the Sunshine Law and things like that for public records, kind of like a board member.
Sure.
Well, Lauren Ramirez and Janie Ruddy are pro students. They are wanting the students to be treated as board members, not to vote, but to give their input. And then Will Fury and Christy Chung want students as purely there to observe. Fury doesn't believe the students should have options to speak at the agenda items. The teenagers that bring in that perspective could be problematic, he says, leading to board members. They could weaponize each other. So Ms. Moore said she was going to send it back and have more guardrails to protect students. But what do you think about that, Alan? Because I find that interesting. They've been doing it this whole time, and they've been there for a while, but now all of a sudden they're clashing about what they should do. Like, should we have a student's perspective at a school board meeting about what's actually going on in schools, considering they're at the schools when people are threatening people and things like this are going on? Like, I think it's kind of.
Well, I think obviously we should have. I have been to school board meetings where the student representatives, or whatever you want to call them, have spoken out and had really excellent points and were really well spoken. These weren't just kids that they threw up there. These were kids that scholastically and intellectually deserved to be there. I think their opinion matters. They've been in the schools and stuff. I don't think they should be allowed to vote on anything. No,
right.
they definitely not. But I think when issues come up that students have background on because they're in the school seeing things, then they should be allowed to speak. Now, having said all that, I'm not sure what the two school board members are opposed to. I mean,
which one are you talking about, Fury and Christy?
Yes.
They're basically saying that they think that it's going to be problematic to have a student
has it
input.
been? Has it, in the history of it, has it been?
I mean, it doesn't sound like it. And they all, Chung said it could be weaponized against each other, like meeting the board members. They can weaponize the students against each other, apparently, by what they say.
Well, if the board members are doing that, then the board members shouldn't be on the board.
One of the comments under this on Facebook says, this is regards to Fury and Chang, are you afraid of the students that might be smarter than you? Representing you, I was shocked. I was completely shocked when I saw that, but that's why they don't want them having any input. I don't know. Kind of goes back to what you just said, though, about the kids being smart. Well,
the kids are smart. Well, at least the two that I saw. I've only been to a school board meeting, and it was a while ago, and I think they may have just started the program. I don't know, but there were two kids up there. They were extremely smart, extremely well-spoken, and had some really good input, I thought. Well,
I think,
but I don't. I mean, I'd be interested to know if there's been a history of where the kids have the kids speaking out at the dais or on the dais, because the other ones are at the podium, have actually caused some type of ruckus or division or whatever. I really wish our school board could be a little more uniform.
Well, yeah, because it makes it sound like the kids that have been dealing with the real safety issues, the board doesn't really want to hear about it. And they were elected to be able to make changes and put in policies in place and stuff like this. And the kids that are actually dealing with it, it sounds like they don't want to hear from them. It's kind of like, we're the adults, we're going to make the decision whether you like it or not, and we don't want to hear from you at all. That's kind of what it sounds like, doesn't it?
I mean, it does. I don't know, because I haven't been there. I haven't seen it. I don't know the background on it. But I will say, school board members, if you would like to come on and explain the position, the door is open. Give us a call and come on the show and help us understand it and help the public understand it as well. So there's your open invitation. You think they'll take it? I
don't know. We're going to go back to the school board or the Flagler Palm Coast administration.
They won't take it.
We're going to talk about equality, transparency, and accountability for all students, regardless of race. And I want to preface this by saying I wrote stuff down because I wanted this to come off correctly. So I'm going to read from this, from some notes. But the last few weeks, and again today, I was inundated. There have been 2 posts specifically from Flagler Palm Coast High School that the comments
Posts where?
on their site, Flagler
okay.
Palm Coast High School site. In particular, these 2 posts revolving around the same culture, the comments have been turned off. And I've had parents send them to me, and I actually looked. One was on February 18th. It was a day to represent Crown culture of Pan-African Pride Day. It was a day to represent it. I guess it was something that happened last week. They were, wanting to celebrate the heritage of African American people.
Okay.
But the weird thing was, the first time they posted it, comments were automatically turned off. In the original picture, it says, wear head wraps, braids, your hair anyway, red and green, with a black fist that went like this. Later on the next day, they took the fist off that photo and took out head wrap, braid, and hair and replaced it by just wear your colors. So with that, they have several posts that they send out all day long. And this goes back to the transparency, and I wanted to read this about why would they turn off the comments. Alan, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to know why too.
So I'm just going to share, because I really thought about what I said, so it doesn't come off the wrong way.
Yeah, before you get into it,
Yeah.
I don't know why they would turn off comments. I'm sure these things are monitored, and you can shut down or not allowed to be posted, stupid, racist, or whatever kind of comments. They can be done away with without shutting down the voice of other people, unless they're worried about violating free speech by not allowing everybody to say nasty stuff. But they allow nobody to say anything.
Right. So that's why I'm going to read this. It says, I wrote this recently. Flagler Palm Coast High School shared the post on social media celebrating Black History Month, featuring group photos from events focused on African heritage and community legacies. These look like positive gatherings from what the pictures look like. But what caught my eye and other parents that have sent the comments to me were notably, obviously, the comments were turned off of these 2 specific posts. While all other recent announcements like sports updates or general school news has comments wide open for the public to display whatever they want. Turning off the comments only on these specific posts could be seen as discriminatory because it treats discussions about one group of heritage differently from others. Suggests it implies that administration expects or fears negative only around the Black focus of these African American content images or posts, which should stem from bias or lack of even handiness. By shutting down comments here and no elsewhere, it feels like administration's discriminating against the community input on certain topics. If the goal is to foster a safe place for all of these students, why only single out these specific 2 posts? It raises questions about whether they're prioritizing protection for some narratives over others, which isn't really fair or transparent. On the adverse side of reversing this discrimination, these events appear to highlight specific demographic groups exclusively, which is great for representation. But if the school is using public resources for that while turning off feedback, it would come across as discriminatory towards students from other backgrounds who might want similar spotlights, like the Hispanic Heritage Month, for example, or Asian American Pacific Islander Month.
Why do they have those months celebrated at the school?
No. And it's weird, too, because the other high school in the area didn't celebrate any of this or post anything like this. And they have not turned off comments from any of their posts at all at Matanzas High School from what we've seen. Why not the equal opportunity?
Wait a minute. So you got FBC and Matanzas High School, 2 different high schools.
Yes.
One did it and one didn't do it?
Yeah, celebrated this, yes.
So FPC celebrated and Matanzas didn't, and FPC
Correct.
Shut off the comments.
Correct. Why not equal opportunity for all to engage? And I was actually looking through the Florida education laws like Freedom Act to back up under these guidelines, schools are supposed to promote unity and avoid anything that could be seen as dividing. Students by race silencing these comments on these two specific posts might be their way of avoiding scrutiny over whether the events align with that. I don't know, Alan. What do you think?
I'm confused. Well, first off, if they're not celebrating the other heritages,
There's several heritage and cultures in that school. It's
right,
very diverse.
but only one is celebrated,
Yeah.
correct? And okay, so
But the comments, why?
that's where I'm getting to. First,
Yeah.
they're not celebrating everybody, and the ones that they are celebrating, they're shutting off comments on, rather than just monitoring the comments and not allowing, if there are any stupid ones, to come through. So they're censoring the entire school body.
100%. And I really think that parents in Palm Coast deserve transparency, and that the school board should actually explain their and comment policy publicly to imply its consistency to build trust with the community, and that this is not discriminatory by these comments being turned off on just these two specific posts. And it just raises a flag, because this is not the first time our area has had problems with this. Remember, I believe it was a couple years ago in Bunnell, they had a huge thing that's saying one background had the less test scores. Remember that?
I remember that.
And there's some students have been arrested for bigot threats and things like that. I think that the district is clamping down rather than encouraging open, inclusive conversations when it comes to all cultures. That's my opinion. And I've had several people send me stuff. And this is not trying to be a racist thing at all. This is trying to say that there's all these cultures that we should talk about, and everyone should be treated equally.
Well, you either talk about
just
all
like the
or
rules
talk
say.
about none.
Exactly. And it seems like weird that these two only are the ones with the comments off, which why can't people openly discuss what they think about these events like every other post that they post?
I mean, there could be a lot of positive posts
Yeah.
that aren't going through, and there might be the occasional stupid one, but that can be, moderated out. So my question, or I shouldn't say question, my offer, again, hello, school board.
Yeah, they need to be a little more transparent.
Why
with
not?
this.
We have a large audience. A lot of people listen to us, and I know that there are times when people on the school board, people in various school departments,
or Flagler Palm Coast administration, they're
Yes.
the ones who are letting this out.
right? They aren't, they're not happy when we bring these things out, and I don't care about that. But if they want to clear the air and they want to talk to people, the door is open. Come in. Let's have a civilized discussion, and let's answer these questions, because
And why did they
this
change the
isn't
picture?
helping.
Like, why would they take the fists down and take out the hair wraps and head wraps, braids, and hair color? Like, why would they take that out after originally
Yeah.
posting?
They
that?
need
I
to
have
explain it.
I have pictures of both of all of them, because like I said, I had several parents actually reach out to me, and
they send you screenshots.
they send me screenshots all the time, and I see it because my son goes to FPC.
Oh, there you go.
So, and he told me about the event too. But, when I started looking and diving deep, I'm like, why are the comments turned off here? Like, what is going on? If people really wanted to comment about what's going on, it makes it seem a little sketch.
A little.
And especially since other schools in the area aren't celebrating, it's just
Yeah.
the one culture, the one school.
This isn't this. Please come on the show. School board members or faculty, not faculty, because you'll just get yourself in trouble. But administration, or send us a comment. Send us a letter. Explain it. If you're afraid to come into the studio, then just send us an explanation so that we can put it out and help people understand what's going on. However, unfortunately, we are out of time.
Well, we just wanted to touch on some issues that were in the Palm Coast. Hopefully, we did, and we raised some questions that, again, the school board here needs to be a little bit more transparent.
How come the school board is often part of our discussion when we talk locally?
That's even like the conservative stuff.
understand.
I get stuff all the time from people who don't have the balls to say something and question it. It's like, we're not going to touch that. And by touching it, it doesn't mean anything. Like, all cultures deserve to be recognized.
Yeah, why not?
All comments need to be said about each one. And the fact that you took the 2 off, we're going to raise a question about it because it makes it look sketch and it makes it look like you are being discriminatory. And unless you say something back or actually be transparent about it, we don't know what's going on. That's why you need to speak up and say what's actually going on at FPC over there.
I agree 100%.
So, well,
anyway,
thanks for joining us, folks. We're going to go start controversy on the next show, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.